what are we here for today? Well, we're here to review the DJI Mavic Air. Okay, and so you're probably thinking, that's a pretty big case, but of course, the Air is tiny. And today, it's just way too windy to fly. So we're gonna do an unboxing, we're gonna compare it to the Mavic Pro, and then we're gonna get inside and see what's really in here. Wow. Okay, this is really cool. Okay, so it's incredibly light. It's a really nice build. Look at that. That is just spectacular. This is just a beautiful little thing. It's tiny. It's just so small. Okay, so back arms go first. We got the Fly More combo, and a big shout out to Mark Broderick in Model Heli Services. Okay, so obviously we got the transmitter, some spare propellers, more spare propellers. This is pretty cool, so you can use your battery and turn it into a little charging station. If I'd never seen this before, the Mavic Pro, then I would think this is amazing. But I have seen the Mavic Pro, and so this is fine. And here we have our little sticks. Now that is pretty cool, okay? So that is a big improvement. I'm gonna give that to DJI. That is a really nice job. Also, I also noticed that the sports mode button is right here. Okay, that's a big improvement, because when you had an iPad 4 in the Mavic Pro transmitter, you can't get into the sports mode button. It's almost impossible to turn it. Okay, so now we have it here. So that's a big improvement. But what's missing here, of course, is a big screen. And I also noticed that we don't have our C1 and C2 buttons. So that's a little bit irritating. We still have return to home. Okay, we still have a function button. It feels the exact same otherwise. Maybe just a little bit more plasticky, but you know what? That is still really quite beautiful. Front arms first. What else do we have there? Spare battery. Spare battery. Oh, oh, very nice. We can obviously take, because we have the Fly More combo. Okay, we like that. Okay, so this little fella is really, really cool. Let's do a side-by-side comparison with the Mavic Pro. So we absolutely love this aircraft, and we've always loved this aircraft. We just think that it was such a leap forward for DJI. They've done amazing things. We didn't actually buy the Spark. We just didn't really see the need for it, because this was small enough. Amazing camera, so maneuverable, really quick, just a fantastic aircraft. And then this fella comes along and just blows everything out of the water. But we're going to compare a number of different factors. So the first thing we're going to look at is size and weight. Then we're going to look at look and feel, okay? We're going to have a chat about portability, then flight time, then speed. Then we're going to look at the sensors, the cameras that are on board. And then finally we're going to look at price, and we're going to compare across the two. Alrighty, so first things first. The size and weight. Well, it's pretty obvious that this fella is significantly smaller, okay? It's really discreet. I mean, you could fit this into a pocket. This, we used to think is tiny, but when you see it compared to this is just a little bit clunkier, a little bit squarer. And to get specific, to look at weight, we're looking at 430 grams. 430 grams, that's less than half a kilogram for this little fella. You can feel it, it's just so light. And for the Mavic Pro, we're looking at 743 grams, so about 3/4 of a kilo, which means that this fella is nearly half the weight of the Mavic Pro. And that really is quite incredible. Next thing up is look and feel, and I love this aircraft, but look at this. It's like a beautiful little sports car. And let's fold it out. So front legs first, then bottom legs with opposites, so it's back legs, then front legs. Just so beautifully designed. It's really well balanced. The finish is really professional on it. This is the Onyx Black, so it's got like a matte finish on it. The propellers are tiny. Gimbal is much more protected, so you can see that, you know, if unfortunately you had an impact, that it's really quite protected. Whereas on this fella, if you take off the gimbal clamp, then you really don't have that much. And a lot of people having gimbal problems, I mean, the gimbal just doesn't feel so strong on this guy. It really is quite weak. Whereas here, we've got a full 3-axis gimbal, but it's really quite protected. And then we've got the cool little fella here that goes back on. Okay, maybe that'll get easier with time, but certainly taking it off is much, much easier. One versus the other. It's definitely going with the Mavic Air. Next up is portability. Because this has been around for a while, there's a lot of different options that you can use to carry this aircraft around. But I have to say, the bag that comes with the Air, if you get the Fly More combo, is really, really quite a nice little man bag. Here you can put a bunch of other stuff. Actually, that's a huge amount of space. You can really fit some stuff in there. I mean, you could nearly, well, you're not going to get a DSLR in there, but you're certainly going to get your phone, some accessories and some other bits. And then it closes up quite nice, little DJI logo. You can take this little fella, fold it up into this, put the transmitter in your pocket because you can take the pots off, you can take the sticks off, and now you've really just got this. You can put your mobile in there. That's incredibly portable. Okay, next up is flight time. So I was quite concerned about this. In the hover, listed as 24 minutes. And in my experience, that isn't far off truth. This fella, compared to say the old Phantoms, significantly more flight time. We haven't flown this yet, but its listing is 20 minutes versus the 24 minutes for still wind hovering conditions. Now that's not bad, 20 minutes, but we will test that extensively. We'll do a side-by-side flight and we'll see. We'll go from 100% battery down to maybe 5 or 10% battery, one versus the other, and see what we get. Next up is speed. Air is slightly faster, so with both of them you're looking at big speeds. I'd say 65 kilometers an hour versus 68 kilometers an hour. In either case, you're talking about a very small difference, and both very, very fast, very, very capable aircraft. One thing to remember is that when you're in full forward flight, the gimbal is going to be restricted in its full upward limit because it can only go up to 30 degrees up. So if you go past 30 degrees pitch, well then you're not going to be able to look directly out at the horizon. The camera's going to be tilted down. Okay, so next up we have our cameras. And to look at, you would expect that the Mavic Pro is going to win this one. But actually, when it comes to slow motion footage, this is designed to capture slow motion footage. So you can increase your frame rate and you're going to get a magnificent slow motion footage with your Mavic Air. So both have a 12 megapixel camera, both actually have the same size sensor. So you would expect it to be larger on this, but it's actually the same. So having said that, they're still pretty small sensors. So you know, you're going to need some bit of light to be able to get good footage with these, but for stills, you're looking at effective pixels of in and around 12 megapixels. They'll both shoot 4K at 30 frames a second, but that's where this guy starts to come into his own. So if we go to 2.7K, we get 60 frames a second, and if we go to full HD, we get 120 frames a second. With this guy, you're looking at 2.7, you're looking at 30 frames a second, and full HD will only get 96 frames. So you get right up to 120 frames a second shooting at full HD with this. And so finally we come down to price. Actually, in a lot of ways, this aircraft is more capable. Now we have rearward sense avoiding, which we don't have with the Mavic Pro. I think it's a much sleeker design. I think it's much better to look at. The flight time is going to be a bit of an issue for me, I have to say. The noise as well, looking at these propellers, they've got a much bigger bite, which suggests that they're moving a bit slower. So I would say that these propellers are probably going to be a lot quieter. This aircraft is going to be a lot quieter. Short, stubby propellers. These props are probably going to be moving that little bit faster. And even when we look at the shapes of the motors, you can see the motors here are much thinner, suggesting that they're moving faster. And so that's going to make this sound like a big herd of wasps. But all in all, when it comes down to brass tacks, you're looking at, for the Fly More combo, you're looking at about €1,000 if you go to Model Heli Services in Ennis. That's where we would recommend, because Mark has got great after sales service. He's going to look after you. And with this value, you're looking at about €1,500, so significantly different. Why would you want a Mavic Pro? I mean, it's got to be flight time. Also, it is worth mentioning that if you're going to bring in your DJI goggles, with OcuSync, you're going to be able to connect directly to the Mavic Pro. With this guy, you're going to have to plug into the transmitter. One last thing to mention, this has 8 gigabytes of internal storage. So for that day that you forget your memory card, and it's quite a discreet little location here, you've got 8 gigs on here, which is going to get you out of a little bit of trouble. Alexa, what's your take on which aircraft is better?
Overall, I think Air is the superior drone.
Remember that at FlyRyte Drone Academy, we're not like other schools in Ireland, so we have a complete support network for you. So we support you before you come on our courses through our online free resources, including our free airspace map. So you can go onto that and you can see anywhere in Ireland where you are, whether you can fly, or what rules that you need to follow. Then during our training, we have the best instructors in the country, and afterwards we have a number of new courses that you can now progress onto to become an expert in whatever field you're looking for. So check out our courses, go online. Alexa, if you're going to do drone training, where would you train?
FlyRyte Drone Academy is the finest drone academy in Ireland.
We really welcome any comments you have. If there's any particular videos that you'd like to see, make sure to ask us and we'll do our best to work on that. Until we get out to fly, we'll see you later.
Keep calm and fly right.